All right, on this Thirsty Thursday, we introduce you to two lovely ladies that we met in the Fear Club. So you know they love Project Fear and everything spooky just as much as we do. So welcome Kayla and Emily to Spooky Happy Hour.
Yeah,
Hey,
welcome.
Thanks for having us.
You're so welcome. We're so excited to have you guys. But before we get into this video, for those who are watching or listening, remember if you keep coming back to see what we're up to, like, subscribe, and comment so you don't miss a spooky moment. Now, in true happy hour fashion, we gotta ask, what is everyone drinking? Or did you bring anything to drink?
Let me just tell you, it was a struggle. You cannot find a spooky cup anywhere. Like,
Oh,
and I missed the cutoff for Amazon. So
Oh,
we took like a last minute trip today to At Home. Do y'all know that store?
Yeah.
And we're gonna say that this is a bone and not bamboo.
okay.
it
Okay.
looks like a chalice. So it's like the chalice
Yeah.
gives it the
works.
spooky vibe.
Well, I'm getting like, that Scooby-Doo movie, like
Yes.
Oh yeah,
the live action.
island one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go.
That was a favorite movie. But this is a blue raspberry truly. So
Ooh,
nice.
I wanted to
quick
try that
go-to.
one too, and I haven't tried it yet.
it's really good.
I've never even heard of it.
You know?
I dug through my Halloween wear and got my little ghost mug from Target last year. And yes, I do have a little straw with it, but in it is just a good old Dr. Pepper. Nothing too exciting.
Yeah, but Dr. Pepper's good.
It's the drink of Texas, and I'm from Texas, so
I
See,
love
totally matches energy. And we appreciate
Yeah.
y'all being here with, whatever's in your cup. And for those that are listening on Spotify and are unable to watch, we are all in our respective fear gear. So anybody else, right? Y'all want to get your own, head over to either the Fear Club or Fear Gear Shop and grab some that unfortunately isn't going to look like ours, so you can't be as cool as we are, but they did just do a full drop, so head over there if you want to get any new ones, and you'll probably see them on here at some point in time with the new merch.
Yeah.
Pretty sick too.
Yeah,
I'm so excited for mine to come in.
I know, it's like
same.
I'm like on my email all the time, like refreshing. I'm like, is it coming? Is it coming?
Every day.
Yeah.
I'm going to Star Cadet to pick mine up because they're like
in Nash, right?
Yeah, they're in Nash, and I'm really nervous. I don't know why, but waiting for that email. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go up there. I'm gonna meet them, mate. Like, Rachel. But
that's really cool
it's
though that you're gonna be able to
That's
go
just
in
so
person to pick
exciting.
it up.
Yeah.
They're like celebrities on their own. I feel like they're part of like the whole process. So
yeah,
and I feel like that's like how we all like see that, because it's like you're producing all of this stuff that we
100%.
love and that are in all of our closets. So it's like, who else can say that they do that?
Yeah.
But we really appreciate you guys joining us, and I love to see all the fear gear. But we want to know a little bit about yourselves and how you came to really love the paranormal as much as we do.
Do you want to start or do you want me to start?
You can go ahead.
Okay. So I grew up in a very small town in coastal Texas, like tiny, tiny, tiny town. But the town has like quite a bit of history and quite a bit of old history. I grew up on a old train station. It's not a train station anymore. It's my parents' house. But there was a bunch of tragedies at this train station in the early 1900s. First off, there was a train explosion where it kind of derailed and exploded. The train station caught on fire, causing a lot of casualties.
Oh my God.
And then the third time, I can't remember what happened, but the dynamite exploded, just exploding the whole thing. So tons of casualties on my parents' land growing up. So when I was little, I always told my parents, "Oh, look, the conductor's here." And my parents didn't think much about it. They were like, "Oh, she's 2-3 years old. She's very imaginative." But it went in older and older, and I always said, "Sorry, I saw the conductor." So I still to this day believe that I used to see one of the old train conductors. And growing up, I always really liked spooky stuff. I was the kid that wasn't scared of anything. I watched Are You Afraid of the Dark? I watched Ghost Hunters, Ghost Adventures. We all started there. And then
everybody
I'm like,
side eyes.
yes, like all of those ghost shows. And then eventually, once YouTube became really popular, I really got into the YouTube ghost hunting as well. So I would say I've always kind of had a knack for the paranormal my entire life. Like scary movies. I watched, which I guess isn't really a horror movie, but a scarier movie, Silence of the Lambs, accidentally at like 3 years old because my parents didn't realize I snuck into the room and was completely fine with it. Like, it didn't scare me. I loved it. I wanted to watch it again. And my mom's like, you should be watching Beauty and the Beast, not Silence of the Lambs. So I will say, I've always been just a knack for horror and spooky and all things scary. Halloween is definitely my favorite.
Yeah,
That's
with
awesome.
that,
I love
was gonna
that.
say, with that type of childhood, no wonder that you were able to like grow up and do everything spooky, be super involved in it. And I feel like I would be like scarred for life, man, if I was like 3 years old watching Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah, like what is Anthony Hopkins doing to those people?
No, I was so intrigued by it. I was like, oh, this is such good cinema. And my mom's like, you're not watching this again. You're watching Disney.
Oh my gosh.
Much less exciting.
That one scene is like intense too, with the whole like wings over like yeah. If anybody has seen that movie, like it's like definitely not for 3-year-old.
Right? They're gonna be like, Emily, what are you watching?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Like not like me, afraid of everything when I was little.
I wasn't.
So it just really started from the beginning for you. What about you, Kayla? Can you say the same thing? Were you 3 years old and watching super scary movies, or?
No. So, but like, I love scary movies, but I don't like the gory movies. I cannot do gore. I don't know why. Like I'll sit through and watch like the Saw movies or like, you know, I just can't. But I grew up, born and lived in West Virginia for the first 7 years of my life. And my family's still there, like my grandparents and my cousins. And so West Virginia is pretty like, it's just known, like it's haunted, and you go in the mountains there, you can feel it. Growing up there, I lived in the house that my grandparents live in now. And, ever since I was little, I would always tell them kind of the same as you, Emily, like I see this person. Ever since I lived there and now my grandparents live there, I've always seen these men with top hats. And I still see them when I go there today.
You mean like Hat Man top hat? Like
top hat, like old, like, I don't know, like
Abraham Lincoln.
Like Abraham Lincoln top hat, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. So, I'm going a little fast, but like, ever since I was little, it's kind of been known that I've been super sensitive to these things, and my dad is, and it skipped my mama, but my great grandmother was too. So it like goes 2 generations, it skips, and then it goes 2 more. But we all can like see a little bit of different things, feel a little bit of different things. I don't know if you heard my story on the Fear Babes, but that was kind of like my first like major. I had a little girl attachment that came from my best friend's house in Virginia. And ever since then, it's been kind of like, I mean, I've always been intrigued by it. I always knew that they existed, even though my family was like, no, that ghosts aren't real. And that just confused you. Like, who are these people if I can see them and you guys can't? I mean,
because like, isn't your family like religious? Like, is that like the back and forth of like why they wouldn't like believe that you would really be seeing these things? And
yeah, I think so. And like the night that whole time that we were going through the attachment situation with the little girl, it really opened their eyes. And like my mom told me years later, like she would go upstairs and talk to her. Just say, like, I don't know what you are. I don't know what you're doing, but you need to leave. You need to leave the house alone. You need to leave Kayla alone. We had the house blessed by, I think, maybe 2 or 3 different pastors, priests. My grandparents, they're super religious. They came from West Virginia, and this was in Virginia, to our house. They blessed the house. And, I mean, eventually, yeah, it did go away. But, I mean, there's just been things ever since that's kind of happened. Yeah, I mean, I can feel things around and stuff, but it's just kind of like ever since I was little, it's been super intriguing to me.
What do they think about it now? You know what I mean? Like your
Yeah.
family, like what do they think about now that you're older, you're an adult,
Yep.
like they've gone through all of that with you?
We don't really talk about it. Like they don't really talk about it. They kind of like go back to that only if I bring it up, but I try not to.
Out of sight, out of mind type deal.
Yeah.
Out of mind. And it's not really something that's, it's like accepted. Like I'm not gonna call myself a medium, but like I can't talk to things. I haven't tried, but like I'm not a medium. I know I'm not, but I'm just sensitive to these things, and I'm not gonna. I like watching it from afar. I'll let Roger and all of those people do their thing. I would love to go, on an overnight, but never alone. I'm never gonna play with this stuff by myself. So
You're gonna need like a crew with you, or at least trusted people.
Yeah, absolutely. And in the South, like in Tennessee where I'm at, I cannot find anybody. Cannot find a crew.
That's how it is in Texas.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like
the South, it's a different culture. Like you were saying, like you just don't talk about it, and it's a religious aspect. And you being in the Bible Belt, and me being the end of the Bible Belt, like it's kind of taboo or like voodoo. So it's really hard to find people to do that with.
Yeah. Well, and you guys mentioned too that like kind of like all of us, right, started in like ghost hunters, ghost adventures, all of like the early days of it, and then that progressed, and then it was like Destination Fear and Project Fear. So like when did y'all start watching? Like are you like OG Destination Fear fans? And like if you are, how do you feel like the show's progressed? And if you started like a little bit later and got into it a little bit later, like which episodes are your favorite too?
Oh, that's a hard one.
Yeah.
So for me, I Emily, do you want to go first? I'm fine with you.
No, you're good. You're good. You go first.
I was not here from I started, I want to say between season 2 and season 3 of Destination Fear. I, of course, started Ghost Adventures and Ghost Hunters. I think safe to say a lot of people unfortunately came from there, but our eyes have been opened and here we are.
We're happier now.
We've
learned.
We know. I saw Dakota on Ghost Adventures. Poor thing. I remember he got locked in a basement. I remember the first episode I saw him.
That.
And I was like, I'm not going to say nothing bad, but you freaking locked him in a basement. No, and he ran and was banging on the door. And I'm like, this poor guy. And
maybe that's where his basement thing started. Him drawn to those basements. It's embedded in him now.
Right.
But that's how kind of I knew of Dakota. And then I remember I was just like, I'm tired of Ghost Adventures. I don't like how he's always pretending to be obsessed. Obsessed.
Well, he's that too. Himself, but he's obsessed. He's obsessed from being oppressed and possessed.
All of those. But I was like, okay, let me just find something else. There's got to be something else out there. Saw Dakota had his own show. I was like, oh shit, that's the guy from Ghost Adventures. Watched it. I was hooked. I binged every episode I possibly could. Watched Trail to Terror. Literally probably within 2 weeks.
Nice.
And then I was just hooked 100%. And I think the episode that really hooked me was Sweet Springs. I knew by that episode that they were legit. Not saying they weren't, but they got some of the most, the best evidence I've ever seen.
Mhm.
on
Oh
any
yeah,
ghost show in that episode.
fan-freaking-tastic episode, and I don't even
Yeah.
think that they were ready for the amount of stuff
No.
that they got
No.
into.
Mm-mm.
So yeah.
What about you, Emily? Do you have anything that
Yeah.
stands out in your brain? Like, are you the OG Destination Fear fan, or?
So I actually did not find Destination Fear until season 4. And
Oh.
it took me a long time, not a long time. It took me like a few episodes to put 2 and 2 together. So I like had saw it at my parents' house. It was just like on TV. I was watching it, and it was like a I think season 3 random episode that was playing, and I was like, oh, I really like this. Watched it for a while. Went home, like looked it up, and was watching it on Discovery Plus. And I was like, oh, I really, really, really like this. Like, this is so good. I like the like editing. I like the format. I like the how they interact with each other. And then finally, I put it together that that was Dakota from Ghost Adventures. I was like, same person. I was like, oh, okay. So it took me a while to put 2 and 2 together. So I actually came in while they were like premiering season 4. So I had to go back and watch everything, watch Trail to Terror, like watch season 1 through 3, watch 4, and then I, went on to Project Fear. But I would say my favorite episode is actually more of a Project Fear episode. It is just the Sally House episodes.
Yeah.
And I know they're newer, but they
Mhm.
absolutely blew my mind. And I remember like sitting there, like after watching them, just like so stunned. I was like,
Mhm.
oh my goodness. So I definitely like those the best. But yeah, I kind of came in late to the game, but it took me a second to put 2 and 2 together. I did see him on Ghost Adventures.
Mhm.
I was way
And
late to the game. Like, it
yeah.
just 2 years ago, like, I'd moved home from Colorado to Pennsylvania, and I was like, "Oh, I wonder, like, what's on, Discovery Plus," and I was like it was, like, on my For You page, and I was like, "Wait a minute. I know that guy." I was like, I was like, "He
That
hasn't
face.
aged at all," you know? I'm like, "What's happening here?" So, I started watching, and I was like, "Holy moly," like, there's, like, a couple seasons, so I started, like they had already put out season 3, watched it all, got super excited for season 4, and then it was like their best freaking season ever, and they only had
Mhm.
half of one. And I was like, what the hell's going on? Because I've probably watched it now, especially since like season 1 of Spooky Happy Hour. All we did was like review every single episode. So I've watched all of those probably like 75 times. And
Yeah.
then the rest of them, like the whole series, I feel like I could probably like tell you what succession those episodes like go in. And it's so hard to, I think, like pick a favorite one too. But
Mhm.
I think like the Sweet Springs from Project Fear, and then like Crescent, like both times that they've like gone in Destination and Project Fear, I think they're like freaking stand out in my brain so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I started watching Destination Fear because I followed Dakota on Instagram when I found out he was on Ghost Adventures because I was like following everybody. And then once he like branched out, I was like, I have to watch this. I have to support it. And of course, like we had the travel channel, so like I had to watch it like slowly once a week whenever it came on. So I couldn't binge watch it, unfortunately. But yeah, I have to agree. Like season 4 of Destination Fear was the best season. And it's such a hard question to be like, what is your favorite episode? Because there's so many now, especially with Project Fear. And it's like for me, like when you want to pick a horror movie, everyone's like, what's your favorite horror movie? It's just like there's good top tier ones, but like there's so many. So like I'm gonna be that person and be like, I can't pick a favorite episode. Like I'll pick a favorite season, and like
Mm.
literally they're all just bangers on season 4. Like even if you check like the reviews, they're all like 9 out of 10s
Oh yeah.
on IMDb. They're
Yeah.
like so good. But
Even
yeah.
though like it's been said like no, he definitely didn't cancel them, like I do think that like it's a little bit of a coincidence that your best rated episode that or season that everybody wanted to watch, and then you're like done. So but I think it was one of those
Mhm.
like blessings and a curse type deal that
Yeah.
it is the way that it is now. And I don't think that anybody, like fans or crew included, would trade what happened now
No.
that they're like now that we're all at the place that we are.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
literally was a blessing in disguise. Like, if I'm sure all of you have seen Blue Balls episodes, separate episode for whoever is watching or listening and has no idea what we're talking about. Please go on YouTube and check out Blue Balls from the lovely boys of Project Fear. They go play golf and they torture each other. Sometimes they're positive and sometimes they're negative. Sometimes there's puking and sometimes there's throwing of golf clubs. But you also kind of find out what happened and how they feel and what was said. And that was like when I first saw the whole cancellation thing, I was like, what the heck is happening? And it was a bummer. But I think moving on to YouTube was probably the smartest thing they ever did.
Oh, for
Well, they
sure.
said
Yeah.
they said in the newest episode, which is the Washoe Club, about how, like, if they wanted to do something like the Washoe Club, where it was very last minute, very spontaneous, not planned, they would have had to go through the producers, then this person and that person, and then they would have to get a budget approved and do, jump through this hurdle. Well, they just could pick up and go this time. So I think that is like definitely one of the biggest like blessings of this, is now that they can just pick up and go wherever they want to.
For sure. And I think also there was a little bit of a tell. I think Dakota might have said it in a Blue Balls video that they couldn't use certain devices because someone else was using those devices. But now that somebody is also using devices when he had other YouTubers on his show. So, when Twin Paranormal was on Ghost Adventures at one time with cat balls, apparently cat balls were new on Ghost Adventures, but he never called them that. He called them like light up devices or something.
Something crazy like that.
Yeah, like he invented it. No.
Well, it's like they've been to so many different places, right? Like we can barely even pick a favorite episode because they've been to so many and it's been so active, I feel like, in a lot of the places that they've gone. So we've talked about these cool places, we've watched them go, and I'm wondering if you guys could go anywhere in the world to see like a paranormal hotspot, what would it be and why?
Oh.
Mine would definitely be Villisca. That has always been my bucket list place. I had heard about Villisca on another show, and I was just like immediately obsessed with it. Not obsessed with them dying, obviously, like obsessed with the story. I was like, this is just, I was just like, this is so crazy. That like this person just came in, or they were hiding out in the attic, and then all of a sudden they killed this entire family plus 2 visitors, and then ate some dinner. So, and it's just such a like, it's not a very big, not like this big sanatorium or this big like a sane asylum. It is this tiny little house where there is so much potential for it to happen. So definitely Villisca.
Nice.
I think like what you said too about like we're not obsessed with like the tragedy that happened behind it, but it's like I want to understand it. I don't know why.
Yeah.
It's like why?
I want to know why it happened.
Why? Even when I went to Pennhurst, I was the same way. I was just stunned walking through. It was like,
right?
How? Why? Like, why? I can't. It was so like, I don't know, like energized, and it was just why behind everything haunted. It's just, you guys know.
Yeah.
But I think mine would be Virginia City, just because it's Virginia City. I mean, you have so much there. I'm pretty sure like every ghost or paranormal investigator, like that's on their bucket list. It's just so haunted, the entire place, and I think that's probably at my top for sure. There's a lot of places. It's hard to choose.
Another tough question.
Yeah,
for sure. Well, I mean, you guys have like been to certain like haunted locations too. So of like that you've like maybe been to or whatnot, like have you ever been to a place where you were like, oh my gosh, like I've always wanted to go here, and then you went there?
Oh, Pennhurst.
Yeah,
Pennhurst. Yeah, 100%.
Mine would probably be, so I live 4 hours from New Orleans. So I've seen a lot of the stuff in New Orleans. I've done that. I've done all those haunted locations. I've been to the the Myrtles Plantation. I've actually stayed there multiple times. So I've done all that, but my top place I've ever been to, which is actually I've been to pretty recently, was in Vicksburg, Mississippi. And it's been Ghost Adventures was there, and they had some funny stories about Ghost Adventures.
Oh.
But we'll save that for another day.
Group chat.
Right?
Group chat. I'll tell y'all in the group chat. But the McRaven house. It is a old like some of the YouTubers have been there too, but the McRaven house, that place just, and the different rooms feel so different. It is crazy. I don't know what it is with me in houses. I went from Villisca house to McRaven house, but I don't know. I love the smallness of houses versus that's
Well, it's
why I
that
really
like
like
centralized energy, you know,
Yeah.
it's like all combined into like one small place.
Yeah. So the McRaven house is probably the coolest place I've ever been to.
Well, and Emily, you mentioned that like you watch other like YouTubers, like paranormal and whatnot. So like, do you all get into other ones? Do you have favorites besides like Project Fear that you watch on YouTube pretty often?
I really have been into Twin Paranormal. Actually, Becca
Yes,
recommended Twin Paranormal to
She's
me.
like a Twin Paranormal groupie, man. I feel like she's just like watch them and sends out the
Well,
links
like,
and,
not
maybe
to
hire
like
her for like a promotion
be a
team.
shithead, but yo.
We were talking a while back, and I was like, I need like more to watch because I get really caught up. Like I watch them really fast, and she's like, watch Twin Paranormal. So I've been binging Twin Paranormal lately.
Yes, I got
So
another
that's been
one.
like, I actually took your suggestion. They're really good. I enjoy their videos.
Yeah, they're funny. I like the energy that they all have together.
They have good energy.
They do.
And they're super, like, to me, I find them very respectful of where they go.
Yes.
They're goofy with each other, and they'll say the weirdest things, which is great. But, like, they're very respectful of the locations, and, like, they save the goofiness for, like, before they go in. And Ryan even said himself, like, we're nervous. This is how we show it. We joke. And yes, they do use the spirit app, and we all are a little hesitant of that, but sometimes they get wild stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think like some of their videos have been more the like, okay, does the app really work? You know? Because I don't know. I love their randomness of like the random chants they do every time in the beginning of the episode. Just gets me. But I actually, I binged all of their videos too, just because got into them. But
it's so hard. I don't like, because I don't really know any of them either. And so and then Becca's like, bam, bam, bam. Here's all their links. These are the best ones. The evidence is crazy. Did you see that? Start the video at like this minute at this time. And I'm like, thank you for like having all of that knowledge to give it to me. And I like, they're not bad by any means. Like, I'm not saying that whatsoever. I just don't know if I'm just like too likened to like to Project Fear because of Destination Fear, because it still feels like a TV show on YouTube. Everybody else on YouTube feels like they're on YouTube, and so I just feel like that's like the major difference for me. But I like when Steve Brott and Dylan Stevens go and do their haunted nights, like when they go out, they just were in Gettysburg. And I just watched there like with Jenny Wade and like the orphanage, and like those were pretty cool. So, and I just feel like they're like down to earth. You know that they've been doing it for a really long time. You know they're really well educated on what they're doing, and I think that like that aspect I like a lot too.
Yeah. I watch way too many. Way too many. Like Nuke's Top 5 is like a countdown video, and that's how I found Twin Paranormal. And then Twin Paranormal had like Exploring with Josh on, and then they would have like Paranormal Files like Colin and Connor on, who are also on Project Fear. And it's the whole collab thing that I love. And now there's like Corey Shear and Elliot and Matt Rife, and they just had like Patty Negri on a video at the Cecil Hotel, and that one was like wild. I was like asleep on the couch and woke up to it, and Patty's like in a trance, and I'm like, I need to watch this now. And it's like 2 a.m.
She like got into your dreams and like woke you up and was like, pay attention, bitch.
Oh
watch
my
the TV.
Right? And then like poor Matt Rife is like off somewhere in an elevator going up and down levels, and they're like running and hiding from him, going, he'll never find us. That's terrible.
did they blindfold him and take him up on a floor or something? Like,
I think so. And then he
What
started
the-
like hitting all these levels, and he's like, I'm too scared. And then they just like buggered off.
yeah.
That's so
Yeah.
freaking funny. Well, and we watch all these people have like paranormal experiences on like TV, YouTube, whatever. And we want to go and like have the same things. And I think for like people that might not be able to get a group together and like go to a haunted location or whatnot, I feel like the next best thing is then going to a convention. And you guys have both been to conventions. So we want to hear a little bit about your experiences. I know, Kaylah, you had some pretty awesome stuff happen at Pennhurst. So tell us about Paracon for you.
We had a ghost hunt in the assembly hall, I think it's called. And it was further away than I thought it would be, like walking off to it. But it was really cool. We didn't get to go like downstairs. We were actually upstairs on the second floor of the assembly hall. And the tour guides that were going with us are like, we have no idea why they're taking you guys out here. They're like, there's nothing really ever happening out here. Like, this is not even normally a part of it. And I was like, okay, well, I don't know if we'll just try it. So I tried cat balls, didn't get anything. And then we went back into the back, like there was a back far right room and a far left room. And I started using dowsing rods because I used them a little bit earlier on Mayflower, third floor, which was also super intense. And it was just me and my husband in the room. And I just started talking. I actually have a video of it and started talking to a 5-year-old little boy. I was asking him questions. I was like, are you younger than 10 and younger than 5? Okay, no, are you older than 6? Like, and came to find out he was a little boy, 5 years old. I couldn't really get much other information out of him, but then I ended up saying bye. I went to a different room. He followed me in there, just tried to continue to have a conversation. And it was sad when the time was up, but I was like, please just stay here. Do not come home. I don't want another little child coming home. But I mean, I'm still going through our audio that we recorded while we were there. But it was that I'd say that was pretty memorable. It didn't feel like a bad energy at all. It felt very like light. I don't know how to say it. Like
Innocent?
Yeah, innocent, light. It was not heavy. It wasn't dark. It was kind of like just there. But Mayflower was pretty intense though on the third floor. We ran into a group that they were doing their own little investigation, so we just hopped in and watched them, and they kind of included us. But they had a spirit box, and we were there for probably an hour with them, and they got a spirit saying my name, and then they got a spirit saying my husband's name, and then we could put our hands out, and you could feel your hands get cold. They would say, go hold their hands, and there was other people in the room with us, but if you held your hands out, you could feel like a coldness come over eventually, and your fingers would get a little tight, and they're like, you just tell them what you were feeling, and then it kind of felt like your fingers would automatically just kind of like want to hold. It was the weirdest thing.
Have you ever had anything like that happen to you, like kind of having your attachment when you were younger, or is this like a totally different experience with another younger child spirit?
Yeah, that was a totally different experience because I want to say when I was younger and I had that little girl attachment, I was not prepared for that. And it was very like, it was a very intense feeling. Like, I mean, going back to that whole story, I was woken up in the middle of the night at my friend's house. I was in 7th grade. It was kind of one of those night terror feelings, but I was not asleep. I felt the pressure on top of me. I could hear her running around the bed.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Yeah, her house was super old. Like, still had skeleton keys.
Whoa.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, like old farmhouse sitting way back in the middle of a field. Barns, everything. 2 front doors, one for the men, one for the women. You could hear conversations downstairs. Like, they were used to it. And that night was, I could hear it. I could hear her. And had my parents come get me at like 2 o'clock in the morning. And then for the next couple weeks, like, little girl just antagonized me. And like, there was this one night that I was in bed. My dad was away on a business trip. My mom she was in her room, but I could see her room diagonal from me. And I could not sleep. And I got that feeling that something was around, and it felt like that same feeling of the little girl. She was going around my bed. I was seeing my curtains move. It got to the point where I hid underneath my covers, just praying, like, please keep me safe. Please make this go away. I was trying to straight shot it to my mom's room, but I was just frozen in fear. Like, I couldn't even scream. I was so terrified. And there was a desk that I had right beside my door. And I had this old orange, office chair. And I remember looking out the door to see if I can go. And the last straw was seeing the face of the little girl, but it was not a little girl through the chair. Go through the chair. It sounds psychotic and it sounds like some shit out of a movie, but I can swear on everything. I called my mom probably about 60 something times because we didn't have service at our house either. So I kept dropping the call, hiding underneath my covers,
No.
Absolutely terrifying. But I think that event kind of triggered me to want to know more. And so plus watching everything that I possibly could growing up and even till now about the paranormal, I've listened to podcasts, I've read books, I'm religious, but I also want to know. I don't want to be blind to it. I'm not blind to it. So it's there. I'm not going to ignore it. And I just want to know about it. So going to Pennhurst, I was way more prepared. And now if I go anywhere, I'm also way, way, way more prepared. But I also know how to protect myself against those negative energies and,
Yeah,
Sorry.
absolutely. So having just that whole really fearful experience when you were younger, even if you did know, that's still freaking terrifying.
That's crazy. Yeah.
And now, you've had this other experience with more of an innocent type energy, and Pennhurst, I feel just has that. I don't know, maybe we just weren't in areas where we could feel maybe where the more malevolent or sinister spirits were, but I don't think we didn't feel that way either. I feel in any place that we went, we were never scared. We were just sad.
Yeah, I was just hit with emotion a lot, and then just weird shaky leg, I was on a boat kind of thing. But yeah, because I mentioned it in one of our Instagram posts that I just wanted to cry, and I never felt negative. I never felt a negative energy around us. We heard shuffling in the bathroom, but we didn't feel there was something that came through that said it was threatening, or the threatening one. And I was doing the Estes method, but I never felt we shouldn't be in here kind of thing.
Yeah, just very it was kind of just going through your daily stuff, and then just getting hit with a wave of emotion, and then it would leave kind of maybe sometimes just as fast as it came. And that place was super fascinating. But as you all know, and as our listeners and watchers know of our Paracon episode, it was not the convention itself was also not really that well organized. So I'm wondering, Emily, I know that you were at Pennhurst, but you have gone to other conventions. So please tell us that conventions in other places and states aren't the same as the one that we experienced at Pennhurst. Not that it was bad, it was just unorganized.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news.
I knew it.
Oh no.
The only one I've been to was a semi-local one in Texas, and it was so poorly organized. I didn't end up going to half of it. And then the actual ghost hunt got canceled because of the rain. I was it's not even raining that bad. We can all bring some umbrellas or something.
Yeah.
You're I'm going without you.
Poncho it. So I am fingers crossed, hoping NJP is better. I've heard nothing but good things about them. The organizers I've talked to so far are great, so I'm really excited, and I'm hoping that only be better, because my first experience was not good at all. Probably worse than Pennhurst.
Oh no, I can't even imagine it being worse, but that really sounds like it may actually have been.
Yeah. It was a very small, and again, Texas is not super, again, we're at the end of the Bible Belt. It's not super talked about. It's not super accepted. It's kind of taboo, except for if you go to New Orleans, they kind of are a little bit more accepting and lean into it a little bit more.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
yeah, it was not a good experience.
We're
Darn.
all
And
going to Jersey, right?
yeah.
I'm going
Yeah.
to Jersey, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
all
so we're
going.
all gonna be there, and we're gonna see each other for real. We're gonna have to have
Mhm.
a drink there for real. But like, what are you
Yes.
guys excited about in terms of the New Jersey, the Para Unity Expo?
Mhm.
I don't really know
Well,
what to expect, like, at that one. I just know, like, I mean, obviously just seeing Project Fear again, but it's not at
I haven't got to meet them yet, so that's probably what I'm the most excited about is meeting
Mhm.
them in person. I've heard, like, again, I've heard nothing. I'm like in the Facebook group and the Instagram group. I've heard nothing but good things. It isn't at a haunted location,
Right.
but like I think I messaged y'all some of like the other stuff they're doing off-site.
Yes.
So they're doing a lot of stuff off-site. And I'll just start sending it in our group chat. So since we're all going.
I do feel
But-
it's a little bit more organized just from like I have like we're all doing like the VIP like party night. Like that is like done, paid for. Even like whoever I texted, he was like quick. And I was like,
Oh, yeah.
perfect, no
God.
issues. Like I was impressed with that. But it seems like more of just like checking out the vendors, meeting people, like tarot cards and stuff like that. And like I honestly think that's the most fun part when you go to any convention, meeting vendors, buying stuff, and then meeting like-minded people like you guys that are into the same thing.
Oh, 100%. And that's what I'm like excited for because I feel like, yes, Pennhurst is like big. It's on a grand scale. And I think that even if people weren't so excited about like the different groups that were there, you were excited just to be at a haunted location. And now it's like, you know, this isn't at one, but they have like workshops and classes and like lectures and like I don't know exactly what all they're going to be or what they're going to have, but I think for me that's what I'm like super excited about is like, well, what else can I learn?
Yeah.
Just check us in our little lecture classes, all four of us with our little notebooks. Take a note.
110%.
Recorder to like record it and listen back later. It's just like an alternative.
Heck yeah, I'm like, I think mine, like the new one that I got has like 12 hours of like recording time, even without like an SD card, like just on its own, like internal like storage. And I was like, hell yeah. Like I'm taking this wherever I want to go.
Yep.
Yeah.
Gonna have all of Para Unity downloaded onto a little digital recorder.
Well, I even like felt bad for the people who were working for the Pennhurst convention. Like a lot of people said like I didn't go the year before and a lot of people said it was way worse and it just seemed like nobody knew where to go, what to do. Like we had trouble finding like where to go to do our tunnels. We're like we know where they are, but do we have to check in? Like that was a whole thing.
Well, and we got two different responses from like two different people that were doing it. Oh, you have to meet here. And then thank God we didn't listen to that person because we would have missed like checking in and getting all of our stuff. And then we were just walking around and asked someone else and they're like, oh no, like, you know, you go over here. So I felt like it was very much like on your own type thing, but I don't think that this is going to be like that. And I think it was also really cool, not that we like were as excited, but there were like horror movie actors there. And I know that we talked a little bit about Emily's obsession with Silence of the Lambs at age 3. But is there like we were talking about this, Becca and I were before, was there a scary movie when you were younger that kind of just like scarred you? Like in that moment that like that like you look back on it now or think about it in your brain, you're like, whoa, that was wild at that time.
Mine was go ahead.
Oh no, you're good.
Mine was Haunting in Connecticut. Movie, I don't know what it did to me. I don't know what it did. I've watched like scarier movies than that, but for some reason I think like it's such a good like well-made film and they made it very scary that I was like, nope, I can't do it. But I didn't watch that movie. I finally rewatched it probably 2 or 3 years ago. And I watched it when it first came out. Like that's how much it scared me.
It's based on a true story though.
Right.
Yeah, it is. And I think that's what
Yeah.
ups the fear factor there. Did you get just as scared like this last time around a couple years ago as you did when you were younger? Or did you be like, okay, like I've had some years to like process it and to watch it again. I know what I'm getting into type thing.
I kind of remembered like the parts that really, really scared me. So I was like kind of Kayla was saying earlier, when she went to like, Pinhurst, I was ready to be scared. Like I knew what to expect.
Makes it a little bit easier to watch then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like super. I hope my parents don't listen to this. I haven't told them I want to. I was super sheltered growing up. Like, I went to a friend's house. I don't know how old I was. I was elementary school. Went to a friend's house and they're like, "Oh, let's go watch this movie." And I was like, "Yeah." It was called Gothica.
Oh yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Halle Berry.
Yes. I was scared shitless. Okay. I was like, I'm not am I only doing something like against my parents? I'm watching something that's gonna like haunt me for the rest of my life, probably, because that's just what it seemed like. And I remember like I was not gonna tell my parents, and I ended up going home immediately and telling them like I watched a scary movie, and
You like told on yourself.
I told on myself. But I think that was like just the one that.
I think that happens in religious families because that's like I spent most of my life very sheltered, was not allowed to watch like certain cartoons, even like Cat Dog, Ren and Stimpy, Our Real Monsters, Simpsons, whatever.
Harry
Like
Potter?
we just couldn't do it.
No, I did not watch Harry Potter until after high school.
I was an adult. I was 28. I was 28 when I watched Harry Potter for the first time because
That's
I
how
was
old
not
I am
allowed.
now.
Yeah.
Me too.
It was wild, but I think that that's like kind of like the cultural thing, right? About like if you were allowed to do this or if you were supported in doing it, you kind of do have to like sneak around with it. And like the there were many times that I like snuck around and like watched stuff I wasn't supposed to. But I think like the moment where I was like, oh my God, maybe my parents are onto something was when I watched The Sixth Sense. And I just like did not know like really what was happening when it was happening. And then I'm in my childhood bedroom like right now. And the way like my bed was positioned, not in the way that it is now, but several, lots of years ago, I was dead straight on as I was laying in bed to my door. I didn't like to have it shut because it made me feel like really like enclosed, but opening it too and leaving it open, I really felt like something was going to like come in. I was like terrified because I also think that like I had that kind of energy, right? Like I could sense some energy from time to time, but I would stare at that hallway and like my door frame because the scene in that movie where the boy just looks and then he turns just walking away and like all of his head, the back of his head is just like blown off.
Yeah.
And I just would like stare at it until my eyes would get like heavy and then I would finally fall asleep. But that movie messed me up. And I was like a lot younger, but then like a couple years later when The Ring came out, she just like terrified me so bad. I slept with a beach towel over my TV for like a year. Like straight up was like, I can't even look at this. Like, I'm not going to watch it. I'm not going to turn it on. Like, you're just going to have my, I think it was like an NSYNC like beach towel. Or, no, it was Backstreet Boys beach towel over my TV for that long because it really messed me up, man. Like, I would have nightmares. That shit was scary.
Were you like subconsciously like, if my TV starts leaking, there's a towel there?
No, but you know what?
Maybe she starts coming out.
My subconscious was like, at least it'll be clean and organized. If she does come out, like I'll do it.
That reminds me of like, what is it, like Scary Movie 3? And she was like, Cindy, the TV's leaking. And then she like comes out. That'd be hilarious. Beach towel, Backstreet Boys. Oh my God.
Not the Backstreet Boys beach towel. Oh,
right. I'm like, if you got to be sacrificed for this, like that's you. That's fine by me. As long as it's not me.
But maybe the towel would have slowed her down. She can't
I was
see
gonna say
you.
maybe it would just be like trip her up a little bit, and then I could like make a beeline
like the Backstreet Boys.
And then I'd get met from that boy from like the Sixth Sense, and I'd just be trapped between the two of them or something.
Oh my God! And then it just becomes The Grudge at that point with the little boy that meows or whatever. Like,
Can't do it.
No.
No thanks.
Man, like I felt like such a wuss when I was a kid because I was afraid of legit everything. Like everything. But the thing that like got me was anything to do with aliens. And I think like I caught a commercial. I don't know, I might be aging myself with the show The Outer Limits. A commercial came on and those friggin' aliens were like anything that looks like a gray alien. No, thank you. If you've got the big buggy black eyes and like the bald head, and if you're like 3 foot tall, you freak me out. But like Signs scarred me for life. Scarred me for life. It's one of my favorite movies now, and I've learned to appreciate it. But that scene, and I mentioned this before, when like Joaquin Phoenix is watching the TV in the closet and the little kids in Mexico see an alien pop out from the bushes, I was like, Mom, sleep in my room tonight. I am scared. I thought that thing was like standing at the end of my bed every night. Just standing there though. Didn't want to like poison me or anything.
Well, it's like those movies like stay with us, but then we like watch even more, right? And then like it just grows, and then there's legends and there's lore. So I know that we've talked like, about ghosts and spirits, but like, do you guys believe in other things? Like cryptids like Bigfoot or like aliens, like Becca said? How does that, expand from the kind of spookiness of ghosts?
I know that there's probably I'm confident there's aliens out there, but I don't like to think about it. Like that is something that does terrify me. Ever since I was little, like living in West Virginia when I was little, they would like do work on the mountains. So high up in the mountains, you would see lights at night. And my dad would always tell me that's an alien spaceship. So I was terrified.
No.
You're like waiting for them to come down from the mountains and like take you up there or something.
I was like, what do you mean? Like, we're right here and you're not doing anything about it? Like, you don't want to leave?
Dad, protect me.
Like, you're still saying that. But no, I mean, I'm like confident there's aliens out there, but I'm not going to look into it, talk about it, think about it.
You're like, until they're knocking on my door asking for a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, I'm not even like going to pretend that they're out there. I don't know. Maybe aliens like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
I don't even want to think about it. Don't want to.
I'd be okay with that.
What about you, Emily? What's your, do you believe in those cryptids or aliens?
So aliens, 100%. You can't tell me we're the only like living and like, sentient, thinking, societal not human beings, they're aliens, but like creatures in the world. But like universe is massive. But I'm kind of on the fence of Kaylah, where until they're knocking at my door and asking for a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and I'm gonna have to tell them I don't have a peanut butter because I'm allergic, I don't want to think about it.
Oh no.
Like I don't want to think about it. Like, you stay over there, I'm gonna stay over here, just don't probe me. I've actually been to Roswell, New Mexico too. So like I saw all the alien stuff. They have the big alien museum and stuff. So I've like seen all that, and I'm like, okay, this is some compelling evidence. But again, like the universe is massive. Just don't come knocking on my door for a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I'm not gonna have peanut butter. As for like cryptids, I like the idea of them, but I don't know how true they are. Like, I like the story. I like the scariness of them. I like the thought of like Bigfoot and this monster and like the Mothman. Only 3 cryptids I know. But like, I'm like, are they
I feel
real?
like you do though. That is like, okay, there could be something out there, and like I definitely believe that there is like an other, and are they as we've heard them or like read about them or seen them in movies? I don't know, but I do think that like
that's kind of how I am.
Variation could be out there.
Yeah,
some like chupacabra, something.
See, another one. That was another one.
There you
add that to
go.
the list of Emily
I
knows.
thought about that. I thought about that because pretty recently they thought they saw a chupacabra in a town that's like 30 minutes away from me.
Oh.
It was a rabid hyena, not a hyena, a coyote. And I was like, same thing. Chupacabra, rabid coyote.
Yeah.
Cabra.
Lock your doors wherever Emily lives. Lock your doors. Stay inside.
That was the whole talk of it, like area for the longest time was that chupacabra.
Oh my gosh. Well, before we wrap up, I have a question that is like the last one of this time, and I'm super interested. So, after you die, if you had to be a ghost and haunt a place, where would it be and why? Why are you choosing to spend eternity there?
Oh, this is hard.
I could say I've never thought about this in my life.
I know. I was like, this is like a thinker. I don't think I've ever thought about this.
It's a very tough question. Like, if I died, like, do I want to stay and like obviously when I die I'll be a little bit older, so I can't like haunt my parents kind of thing. Like, do I want to like torment someone? Do I want to play jokes on someone? Like, can I move to a different location? Like, I feel like if you were haunting a hotel, like you've got it made. So many people come in and out. You can mess around, open those doors, close those doors, open the drawers, like turn on the taps. And like, if you don't want people staying in your room, they're going to move rooms because you're just going to mess with them. Like, I think a hotel would be great, actually.
Like
and then you get the bed to
like,
yourself.
Paranormal playground is a hotel, I think.
Right?
True.
Oh, gosh.
I don't know why. I just kind of like assumed that I could bounce around. So it's like,
I know. I'm like, can I travel? Like, can I go to Santorini 1 week? Like, Rome
You
another
can
week?
be
Like,
whatever ghost in Rome where you choose. But maybe if you had to like have a hub, right? Like, oh, this is my ghost home that I come home to before I go on my ghostly travels. Where would you be?
I don't know if it's because I work in a hospital, but maybe a hospital because like there's so many other ghosts, so like I wouldn't be lonely. Like there's a bunch of other ghosts there. Like we can all become friends. We can get like, you know, be like, oh, how'd you die? And I'll be like, car accident, but it wasn't here. So they'd be like, then what are you doing here? I was like, I worked here back in the day.
It's
So
cool
I don't know.
because like
Maybe
you have all your hospital knowledge. You could like see a spirit come out from like somebody who's about to die and be like, code blue, or whatever it is. To be like,
just the blue lights go off.
Yeah.
they're on 3 different pressers. We might need to code them now.
See, there you go. It's like you would be like a little hospital worker at the same time.
I would be a hospital, like not like a trickster ghost, but like the one that'd be like, okay, let's press the code blue button now. You're not pressing it fast enough.
Yeah.
I'd be nosy. I'd be just like, what's going on with this one today? And all right, doctor, where are we going? You know, just like follow him around.
Being like the operating room, be like, I wouldn't cut there. That's not a good spot.
Too gory for me.
Move the gurney like a little bit over. And like, now we're good.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know.
What do you think, Kaylah? Are you haunting your children?
You know, it depends. Depends how they act until it happens. But no, like I'm super like I think that's why I'm also too terrified to like mess with things by myself is because I just want to protect them and keep them away from like Rhett loves Project Fear. He like watches it all with me. He's into scary stuff and like I give him what I didn't have growing up, you know, and support those hobbies, but like I also teach him not to like don't play around. Like you just don't want to cross the line with this stuff. I don't know. I think it would be kind of cool to like go to like one of the famous places like Trans-Allegheny or not going to the prison in West Virginia. No, not going to any prison.
No.
Actually. No. I don't know. Like I like history, so like actual history. I don't know. I'm just gonna bounce
to
around.
be in like a historical spot and like no, because I feel like if you were a ghost there and like there's so many other ones there, they might inform you of like what really happened in these locations, and so you might have the history that we know, but then in the afterlife you're gonna get the tea is gonna be spilled by all of the other ghosts that are inhabiting these locations. So I think that would be a cool one, just to like pick like a hot spot to go to and be like, all right, you guys tell me what actually happened here.
What's the tea? You could get the gossip from every location.
Like,
oh my god.
What went on like when the cameras were off with all the paranormal investigators? Like I want to know what happened.
Yeah, you're like, what does this look like when it's silent? Like, what do y'all do? Do y'all talk to each other? You play cards? Like, what happens here?
You really like move the balls and stuff like in the videos? And what do you think of the cat balls or whatever?
Of
What's
course,
your least
though.
favorite ghost equipment?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I
Right?
got
So we
Like,
like,
can
don't
you
use it.
stop taking this in here? Like, I am done.
Mhm.
who's doing it today? Because I'm not. I'm too tired. I'm not doing
Right?
and interacting with them.
But
So
as
take turns.
always, when we talk about the paranormal, or I feel like anything about the paranormal, like
Mhm.
we are always left with much more questions now, right?
Mhm.
Than we do answers. And I think that it's so cool though, because now we have like other things to think about and like
Mhm.
other things to consider when we do go to conventions, go to historical haunted places. And we can't thank you guys enough for being our first guests of
Mhm.
season 2. Like
Yeah.
Fear Fam is always going to be number 1 to us. And
Mhm.
you guys may know, and our listeners and watchers may know our next guest because she just hit 100,000 followers on Instagram, and she's well known for her spooky endeavors, sleepovers in cemeteries, and Polaroids hidden here and far away. So the original haunted mirror selfie queen herself, Courtney Eastman, aka the Ghoul Guide, is going to be with us
Oh.
next week, and we can't
That's so
freaking
exciting.
wait. So we all
Yeah.
cheers to our
Awesome.
first interview in the books, and next week we'll be so excited to
Yeah.
see y'all again. Thanks, guys.
Thanks. This has been
Thank
great.
you.
Thank you.